Welcome back to another episode of the Skid Factory, where work is continuing on the Bedford.
We're back from overseas. We've had drag week, we've had Canada, we've had a good time. Cannot complain.
What was the highlight of the trip? What do you reckon?
Oh, there was many highlights, but yeah, we really enjoyed it. Thanks to all the American fans who hooked up and give us a high five or a fist bump or whatever.
Not only the American fans, thanks to all the guys that helped us out over there. Benny, Mason, Tate, and Angus cooking up the barbie. You guys are absolute legends. Doing wheelies in the golf buggy with Clayton and Chris.
Good times.
All the guys from Charleston Performance Solutions, you guys are absolute legends for helping us out. I can't thank you guys enough. We had a good meet there at Hooters, which was sweet. Met a lot of guys there. Some cool cars over there, right? I don't quite get the...
It's almost like they can do whatever they want as long as it's got wheels.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which really makes it a lot easier to modify cars.
The, what was that? What was the lifted thing called? Carolina squat. That's a bit weird. You guys have got some...
And the donks with turbo LSs.
Donks, that was cool.
Like 1,000 horsepower
Chad,
turbo LSs. Yeah. They were awesome.
Chad, if you're watching this, you're a legend. Your car is sick and you've got to bring it to Summer Nats. That's got to happen.
Yeah,
get that going.
Put it in a container now.
Jarrell, who gave me that veteran plate.
Yeah.
We met at the Wreckers. Yeah.
He's cool.
Legend.
Tried to steal some plates from the Wreckers just to bring home. He's like, oh, no, here you go, here's my plate. And he was a veteran, like Millsy, except for maybe better.
Maybe we can put the plate on this.
Yeah.
But anyway, awesome trip. Plenty of highlights, as Al said. There is a pretty sweet video getting done for that, which you'll have to keep your eyes peeled on MCM TV2. That will be coming out. I've got no idea when that's coming out, actually.
As soon as they can edit it, which is going to be difficult because Rodriguez took so much footage. Someone is hating life right now.
Nah, it's all good. It's organised well, but there's just lots of footage.
Anyway.
So today we've got the diff. Millsy dropped the diff off while we're away and terrorised the workshop. So the diff's going in.
The diff looks exactly the same as when it left, except now it owes him a small fortune. It's got new axles, new center, new gears, new brakes, pretty much everything except for the housing. So pretty standard for old.
And not upgraded wheel studs yet
Ford
either.
or GM diffs, is you pretty much chuck everything away and put all new bits in it and call it still a GM diff when it's not. But anyway, it'll do the job, so we're going to jack that sucker up in there. Millsy is coming back
due to arrive, isn't he? Yeah.
To test fit some wheels to see which size wheels he can fit on the back of the car inside the arch. So really big, not so big, see which one works and see whether he wants to commit to bashing it with a hammer. So we better get it in before he turns up because he's, you know, a pain in the butt. So.
What else is happening? Something else while we're here? Maybe write up a list or something, eh?
Yeah. There's lots to do and we're pretty sick of the van, so we might get it finished. There's nothing like being over it to give you motivation. I'm not sure if that works, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do it.
This thing's heavy AF, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa. No doubt there'll be some trimming to do here. An acorn, bro.
Someone's here, bro.
You locked the gate.
No, it's open. Millsy.
for you lads.
Nice.
Some beverages.
Sweet rims, new rims.
NASCAR spec, bro.
Why are they different sizes?
Oh, NASCAR turn left.
Oh, so we can only put one on one side and one on the other.
Yeah.
Don't
Isn't
mix
that
them
what
up.
you wanted? Yeah.
Not
Big
really.
Big one goes on the right.
I wanted a lot of things, and this isn't one of them.
I'm more interested what's in the esky.
Get on that.
I asked for 4X gold, bro.
I only do lemon squash.
Just in time, Millsy, we're just cutting up that fresh diff, mate.
Bullshit you are. That cost me a fortune.
You didn't want a handbrake, did you?
Well, let's just use the parking pin.
Okay.
That'll work.
Are you seriously not going to use the handbrake, Alan?
It doesn't fit. Because Bedford.
It's a nice whacking stick you got there, Alan.
Perfect for acorns. Is that what squirrels eat?
Squirrels are cool, eh? See them running around in the parks and stuff?
Oh, shit, man, they're heavy.
Millsy, you even got the writing on the outside too.
White walls, bro. Period spec resto around here.
Period spec resto. Plenty of room.
You just need to take that inner lip out that I was talking about. Just needs a bit of sledgy action against that little lip.
Hey, I got it now. Got your sledgy, bro. What do you need it for?
Clearance.
Are you shitting me?
No. Don't hit the Duco.
All right, let's do it.
It's like folded the floor. That's like going in a long way now.
More?
No. I think you've bent the chassis rail.
Just like that. Taking some roadies, lads. See you later.
Now that it's got wheels, we can push it outside and do something that we enjoy. It's like a real panel beater.
Millsy has taken the other steel rim back to have a bigger tyre fitting. Now the diff is in, we can move on to fitting up the tail shaft adapter and the new tail shaft.
So we mentioned earlier that this adapter is a readily available sort of part now for a lot of these sort of tripod transmissions like Toyotas and these things. Just one thing to keep in mind is that there's multiple sizes of the actual PCD or the tripod bolt pattern. This one is not the same as the manual transmission, even though it looks the same, it's just a different PCD, so your best bet if you're going to get a tail shaft made is just take this with you and give it to the tail shaft guy. I think these things are actually available to most tail shaft shops now, and they're not just a sort of a custom made thing. I've been getting them for Toyotas as well. So
you were previously making them yourself, or
yeah,
Matt was making them, were you?
myself, which is a pain in the butt. But they've also got the sort of the drive tangs machined into them as well, which is pretty cool. So you got a lot better drive on them, not just for the bolt pressure. Tremec, like VE, Camaro sort of tripod as well. They make them.
Different size again, that way.
Yeah, all different sizes, but they are available. So it's definitely something to think about if you got that type of transmission. You will need a slip joint in your tail shaft, which is just how it is. Unless you've got a CV jointed rear, like the diff has got a CV joint it, then you don't need a slip joint because it'll be an independent rear end. But you do need some form of give, especially if it's a live axle and it's going up and down. Your tail shaft links are changing, not by much, but it needs to be able to move.
Do you have to have that balanced or anything?
I don't think so. I think it's all just neutral. He would have done it anyway. I was supplied by the tail shaft guy. So the other thing to mention, which is a pain in the ass, is that one side is metric and the other side's imperial, because who knows. So we had to, you can see it written on it there, 7/16, 20 threads per inch. That's that side. The other side was 12 by 1.75 or something random like that. I don't know why they're like that, but that's how they did them. And also drown them in Loctite in this case. That's how Ford rolls. Everything is drowned in Loctite. I assume that it just falls off if you don't. So we've just gone with that. Japanese cars don't need to be drowned in Loctite, but I don't know, different engineers. So it's probably best, if you're worried about it, just do it, Loctite it. I think that's the default method in the United States anyway. So that's what we've done here. Now we just got to put our very short tail shaft in.
The gearbox is locked in park and the tail shaft bolts are done up one by one.
Got the bolts with this diff, bro?
No, haven't you got them?
I thought you had them.
No, they're in the diff. LZ.
Done like a dinner. Giving it a fresh drink.
There was a sign on it that said it has no oil in it. You must fill it up before you use it.
It's funny how,
It
like,
seems like a reasonable ask, I thought.
there's always, excuse you. There must be some, like, what's the word I'm looking for that I can use? Some special people who don't know how to mechanic very well.
I'm sure there's tons of them.
A lot of assumption, I should say. You just assume that the diff has got oil in it, even though it makes funky noises like there's no oil in there.
It's all over by the time it makes funky noises.
What's next, Alan?
Lots of things. I think we might try and plumb up the brake system,
Brake lines?
get everything working, and cut these things off and turn them around.
I was going to say, yeah, do you want to fix those?
Weld some mounts on for the brake lines for here. Lots of stuff to do.
What about grabbing a lemon squash that Millsy brought over for us?
Yeah. What time is it?
I'm not too sure, but the sun's kind of going down now, so.
Cool. Can't have too much sugar too early.
No. Thanks, mate.
Got the right one, look.
Marty gave us these, eh?
Yeah, he's a good egg.
The Big Banana, Coffs Harbour. You in your happy place, Alan?
It's a better place than a diff that won't fit properly and brakes that don't fit.
Hulsa, hulsa. Is that what you say?
A what?
I don't know.
What are you doing on my list?
Oh, I'm crossing it off. What is doghouse?
Doghouse.
Yeah.
That's the thing that covers up the engine.
Oh,
I used to call it a dog box, but since I've been to America, I call things everything what Americans call it, and they call it a dog box house, something. Speaking of mad dogs,
is that Kramer?
I ain't talking about you.
There's a bit of work to do there, eh?
Yeah, you better get your good gear off and put your work gear on and do some work. No, that's work gear.
This is my good shirt. This is Charleston Performance Solutions. Booster, brake pedal.
Yeah.
Why is handbrake cables down here?
Because I forgot to put it up the top and I ran out of windscreen.
Cool.
So that needs to be done, but it seems like a real crap job, so I'm going to leave that.
Millsy said that he was happy with parking pin, bro.
Yeah, but that's not legal.
And that's not the way you roll anyway, I know that.
No, we just have to modify those bloody things
Levers.
on the caliper, the levers, or just put like an extender on them. We'll get to that. It's got all handbrake cables and stuff with it, but they're probably for like a Chevy Nova or something from 69.
Yeah.
And won't be any use to us, but we'll have to unpackage them and see. So that will be a crappy job for later. We need the booster in so we can make the brake pedal fit and modify it. And the reason for that is so we can make the throttle pedal fit, because one is related to the other. They've got to be at the right heights, otherwise you feel awkward driving the car.
That's easy, drop belt.
Yeah, that's nothing. Then we'll move on to brake lines. There's tons of them to make, all new. It had all weird English brake lines in it, so we'll get rid of all
Joiners
that.
everywhere too, did you know?
Yeah. Strange. Not as many joiners as that Nova that we worked on, but
Yeah.
you know.
Thermo fans,
They've
easy.
just got to be bolted in.
Turbo cooling, more speed flow.
I haven't speed flowed that yet. Heater line,
That's a funky setup too, isn't it?
That's all right. It's pretty simple. The heater tap is seized solid, so we'll go through a book and find out which one looks a little bit like it. Steering knuckle is not there, so I'll get one. It used to have a rag joint thing on it, but it doesn't fit next to the alternator, so I'm just going to change it to just a knuckle.
Solid thing.
Self-explanatory.
Is that a Dunning-Kruger as thing?
No, I think Millsy's mate's going to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to do this. Matt's going to do that if we pay him enough and beg him.
Old cock?
Woody's going to do that. No. I don't know. Old cock. Then we have to make some vlogs. Then we can profit.
Done.
No one's ever vlogged on an 80D before. Do you know that?
No? What's a vlog?
Isn't it like when you hold a phone up and talk?
Oh, yeah. You mean vlog?
Vlog sounds like flog, which is colloquial Australian for someone who talks a lot of rubbish. So it's probably not that far off it.
Alan, I think there's one thing missing on that list.
Lemon squash.
That's a very good point, but also riding motorbikes.
Q's a very interesting letter, isn't it? For it to exist, it has to have U next to it.
That's so random.
That's- See, look, squirt. Squirrel.
Squirrel. You love squirrels, eh?
Q is like, without Q, you'd be, what would there be? Let's come back tomorrow.
Yep. Do anything tonight?
Just working on my memoirs.
Sweet.
What's that?
Just polish my brass donkeys.
You still got them?
Yeah.
How many?
I got more coming.
Sick. What's up, Chutch?
Man,
Where you been?
real wax his arm this morning. Got Jarrell's plate
Sick.
so we could put it on.
What are you gonna put that on?
On this thing. I thought it's pretty cool anyway. Keen?
Cooling system finished.
Yep.
Changed my mind.
Righto.
Move the list. Just want to make everything ready to go, because when we start putting all this stuff in, we won't be able to get that back out again. Let's do it.
Cool. What's first?
Well, now that I've looked back over it, I remembered there's a lot of stuff I need to do. It's all layers, so the power steering delete idler I need to make so I can put a belt on it, because that's sort of deeper in. So I'm going to do that first. Just got a bit of aluminium plate and just cutting a shape into it, and then we'll drill and tap it, and I'll get an idler and make the spacing correct and everything, just so the belt can run over it. These things are a bit of a pain if you delete the power steering because of the way the belt tensioner works. I think there is a way around it, but in this application where I've got air conditioning still, I think it's easier just to put an idler on it and just use the belt in its normal routing.
I think you can buy a kit for power steering delete, and also there's the aircon delete, which is from like a what did Cloughy say?
No, the power steering
What are
delete
those
from a
utes?
territory,
Oh yeah, that's it.
but you can't buy them anymore because Ford shut down.
Yeah, true.
So that's a waste of time. So we'll just make one.
Bit easier to work on this than in the car, eh?
And it is handy to have this here, but you probably should fit it one day, hey?
I'll get round to it, mate.
Storage department.
The Bedford doesn't have assisted steering, so the power steering pump has been removed and Al is cutting up a chunk of aluminium to make up a new tensioner mount. Two mounting holes are drilled and threads are then tapped into the alloy. The plate is then bolted on so the third mounting hole can be marked and threaded with the same tap. The excess is cut off and the tensioner mounting hole is drilled and tapped also.
What exactly have you done here, Al?
Come over to your motor and I'll show you. It's easier. That's the power steering pump from this engine. So it normally bolts in there and it's part of the drive. So if you remove that, it sort of messes up the way the drive works, and you've got to play around with the tensioner and stuff, and it's a real pain. So because that's the only thing we've removed, what I'm doing is just making another idler to go there. So there's one here, and I'm just going to add an idler there. So it's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is make the belt path correct. So that's all this bit of metal is. Incidentally, it looks a lot like this map of the state of Queensland where we live, which is pretty cool. So that goes on in here, bolts on where the pump used to bolt on. And in the middle here, we're just going to have a through bolt with a pulley. So I've just got to go into the parts shop and just rat through the pulleys and see which one looks the best. It's obviously going to have ribs on it like that.
Can you just use this one from the centre there?
Yeah, I could do, but they're not very good, so I don't really want to, unless I can get one in...
like a roller bearing type of thing? Metal?
Yeah, if I can get a metal type one, that would be okay. Sometimes they replace them with metal, depends on who makes them. But yeah, I'd prefer to get one with a decent bearing in it, because yeah, they're kind of floppy from the get-go, so I'd rather not put something on it that's going to be prone to failure. When there's options, doesn't really matter which one we put on there. We just got to make obviously a spacer to get the height correct so the belt runs straight. We can pretty much go off of here. So that pulley height versus that mounting point, that's pretty much what we're up against here, which I think is 25 mil. So, but either way, we'll just make it so the belt lines up.
And billet adapter, Alan?
It's a piece of aluminium with chunks cut out of it, so yeah, billet. I've got a metal idler. Pretty much just went through the list until I found the first one that looked like it would work. 6 rib. Got a decent bearing in it. So these ones, they normally have a 10 mil bolt holding them on, but they have a 17 mil ID, so it sits on a sort of a post with a little step, pretty common. So we have to make a post with the step, and then the bolt will go right through, and then we can adjust the height of it so it's the correct height. So I've just got some alloy bar in the lathe. I'm just going to cut it down. It's 25 mil. Just going to turn it down until this fits over it. Then bore a hole through the middle of it. Then we'll trim it off to the right height. Hopefully first time.
Like a box, Alan.
What do you reckon, Woody?
I can't really see from this angle.
I think it's pretty spot on.
You gonna put those into production?
Nope.
The tensioner is bolted on, ensuring to use heaps of Loctite exactly like Ford did from the factory. The alternator is fitted up and an old drive belt is thrown on so we can measure the length for the new belt, as the tensioner we made is a lot smaller than the factory power steering pulley.
We may have mentioned this before in another build, but this is, if you need to find out how long a belt is, to save yourself from taking them back 3 times or buying 10 in a row and trying to find one that fits, I just get an old belt and cut it in half and just run it through the route, pull the tensioner back if it's an auto tensioner, or if it's a swing sort of thing, pull it back to obviously the tightest point, or the loosest point or whatever, and then run the belt through its route and then just mark it, and then you simply measure it and that's it. So that is enough to get you pretty accurate. I think we measured this at 2160 and it's a 2255 belt originally. So
What's that from? It's a 2JZ or something, isn't
I
it?
don't know. I'm not sure. I've got a lot of belts that I don't know where they came from. You get that?
Maybe that's off the V12.
No, it has 8 PK belts. That's right, 8. So I just keep that in my box of tools. Very handy.
Slowly but surely we're making progress. The thermofans are fitted up and I get to removing the thermostat housing so that it can be modified for the heater circuit.
Loctite is great.
I've removed the thermostat housing from the car. Now we were going to weld on a Speedflow 1/2-inch MBT weld on there, but as it turns out, the hole's actually the correct size for a tap, so I'm just going to run a tap down through there and fit a brass fitting in there, and that's going to be our heater outlet for the heater core.
Bro, why'd you spray me with shmoo?
Just to keep the greys away.
Like graze on my arm.
Just rub it in your head. See, it worked.
And all the way forward, pointing up.
Yeah,
Digging into the alloy here, son.
that's all right.
Keep going.
Yep. I was holding my breath then.
Snap.
How's that Loctite, bro?
I reused it.
Plenty there.
You know, I just randomly remembered.
What?
Old mate James with that Sierra 500. Oh no, Judy owned that now. Anyway,
At Charleston.
remember the story you was telling us about the kangaroo?
Yeah. A kangaroo in South Carolina
Oh, that's funny.
on the side of the highway.
What's the plan for the water pump at the back?
Just going to make a blanking plug for where that pipe used to come out because it doesn't need it anymore.
Turn something up on the lathe or something?
Yep, that's what it's for.
There is a hole in the back of the water pump where the standard heater pipes previously joined into the cooling system. The heater core is now fed coolant from the thermostat housing, so Al is back on the lathe and turning up a blanking plug. Being unsure of the history of the car, the heater core is removed and given a quick flush with the garden hose. It was a bit worse for wear, but after a rinse was flowing just like new. With the heater line sorted minus a replacement heater tap, the last thing left for the cooling system is a couple of speedflow lines for the turbo. But as the day is coming to an end, it's time to crack open a cold lemon squash.
You're doing 45 on this side and then 90 on the passenger behind the block.
45 off the turbo and 90 off the block.
Sweet. Do you know what you're doing here?
Do you know what paparazzo means?
Is that something, code word for something?
Well, according to The Simpsons, which I suspect is correct, it is like Italian for like a fly, like a bzzz, fly buzzing around your head. That's why they call paparazzi, because they're always buzzing around in your face like this. Like this. Oh, that's gotta hurt. It's almost like I've never taught you anything.
Like what?
Like use the jaws for
Oh.
correct jaws for the application.
Can you get me some lube, bro? Thanks, man. Lucky I've got small hands to fit into tight spaces, Alan. Because I just nailed that the first time around. Stoked.
What are you doing, cleaning out the gutters or something, brah?
Come and grab the bottom of that cooling hose for me.
Oh, that one.
Is it hanging down?
Yep. Hope it's long enough.
That's what she said.
I'd love to say we've had a productive couple of days, but it doesn't feel like it. We did manage to cross off diff. That's in, but the tail shaft doesn't fit it because it's got the wrong pinion on it at the moment. We've got a new pinion coming with the larger 1350 uni size on it, because like the whole thing, the whole tail shaft and everything's huge, and then that pinion would have shrunk it back down to a 1310, which is not very big considering the power this thing will probably make. So we decided to upgrade the pinion to a larger 1350 size, which is decent. So that's not here yet. I've got to change that when it gets here, and then we'll be able to bolt the tail shaft on instead of zip tying it on. The handbrakes don't fit because the nothing to do with the kit, but it's just where the leaf springs are. So we're going to have to sort of make all that, which is awesome. Thanks, Millsy. Otherwise, it's bolted in there, ready to go. We test fitted some tyres, and the 275 size tyre does fit under there, which is good because we got an equivalent size, just junker tyre that is the same size as the 275 like drag radial, which is what he wants to be able to put on the back of it. So that's good. We gave a little panel beat with the old sledgy. Mark would be proud, my panel beater. So they fit really well now, and some of the floor's not there anymore inside because it's caved in a bit, but hey, it's only a bit of storage space. Booster we never got to because I got distracted. Brake pedal we never got to. Hard lines we never got to. This we actually did. Cool. Thermo fans we did. Turbo cooling we did. Oh, heater lines, cool. Oh, we did a bit more than I thought. This is all later stuff. Handbrake cables, no. I haven't vlogged yet and I haven't profited, so, but we did lemon squash. We didn't ride dirt squirters, which is a disgrace. We'll have to fix that next week. What else did we do? Oh, we did all the cooling system, so that's all good. Everything's, we made a bit of progress. That's not easy. And I've got to go to Bathurst tomorrow, which is a real drag for, you know, a motorsport fan. So, woe is me. Anyway, we'll be back next week and we'll plough into some of these other points and probably add some more in the meantime and maybe even go dirt bike riding. That'd be cool. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm vlogging with an 80D.